So why are we talking so much about the chicken and the egg? Why do you hear all these conversations, all these YouTubers, all these businesses, all these news talk about it? I mean, what is $2 or $3 more for eggs? That's what we hear. Well, I think there's a lot more to the chicken and the egg issue other than these backyard chickens. Let's jump into some things that we should really be thinking about when it comes to the chicken and the egg and the overall issue. Not just the feed, not just the fact that eggs are going up, but we're missing something. And this could be it.
Life is a winding road.
So you see we have incubators going. That's just 2. We have 2 more over there on the other side. Why do we say it's important to control your food system? Well, that's the reason why. Look at the crud and crap that's happening with the chickens and the eggs right now. But if you control your food system, you're growing good quality supplement food. You're also buying good quality food, and you find it from someone who is not believing in the system that has been pushed on us. And you learn how to preserve the food. Now, canning's one thing and fermenting's another thing. We'll talk about that. But simply water glassing. Have you taught yourself how to take chickens with the eggs, incubate, make new chickens, turn around, grow chickens to have layers, to then turn around and put your eggs up for a long time? We're eating eggs that are a year old that never saw a refrigerator. That's pretty crazy for me to think about. So you see right here we have March of 2022 eggs. We're eating these. We ate these this morning. And it is unique to say that I'm eating an egg that is basically raw, meaning I can scramble it, I can cook with it. We actually made sourdough pancakes this morning and just scrambled eggs. That is amazing that these are almost a year old in water glass and not an issue whatsoever. 1 egg out of all these was cracked, so we threw away 1 egg to the pigs. All the rest we ate. Now, what do we do with these shells? These shells are compost. So we are using every aspect of this eggshell and this egg and this chicken to make sure we're not wasting. So what do I mean when I say there's more to the chicken and the egg issue than meets the eye? I'll tell you right now, we have 39 hens. We get about 20 to 25 eggs a day. Sometimes we get 17 or so, but average around 20 eggs a day in the coldest days. For instance, you see I put a jacket on. It's 30 degrees out here right now. This is the first day of sun we've had, and over about a week, we've had rain just about every day. I thought I was going to have to put the chickens in a boat because it was that much rain. I'll tell you who I use for feed. I don't get affiliated sponsors. I have no dog in the race, and please understand I don't get paid to tell you this, but I like Tucker Millen feed. I've been using Nature Crest. It's just a simple non-GMO mix that I get. Tucker Millen, I think, is based out of Georgia. We get it in on pallets and gross orders. It's very economical for me when I think about chicken feed around our area. Our area chicken feeds around anywhere from $17 to $18. Sometimes they'll have like a barnyard mix, a little bit less than that. But for a quality feed like I'm buying it for a little under $16 a bag, about $15.85 when I buy it in bulk. And I've had no issues. I'm feeding, just so you know, I'm feeding a half of a 5-gallon bucket to our chickens daily. That is basically 2.5 gallons, and 2.5 gallons get 4 feedings out of a 50-pound bag of these chickens. I have 2 roosters and a duck in here as well. So that is their main source of food right now for my layers. Now we rotate our chickens all over our grounds and they get supplement feeding. Yeah, I got a hen house right now that's maneuvering over a garden right now that's getting fed basically by some of the stuff that's growing in the garden. But when it comes to our layers, why do I tell you all this? First of all, when you average out what I'm paying, $15.85 for a bag, I'm getting 20 eggs a day, and I'm feeding 4 feedings off that 1 bag. I'm basically paying anywhere from $2.25 to $2.50 for non-GMO farm-raised eggs. Blue, green, purple, yellow, it doesn't matter, whatever color they are. They're yummy, good eggs and good quality eggs. They're full of nutrients and minerals that these chickens need. So you need to check out Tucker Millen. To be honest with you, you'll have to find a distributor close to you or they can drop ship it to you. But I love the Nature Crest non-GMO Tucker Millen. That is the best feed I've found. The reason I bring up chickens is because why? Here's the kicker. If all of a sudden everybody is buying out the egg producers, if all of a sudden the chicken producers are all the same people, if all the hatcheries are owned by the same people, if all the feed now is owned by the same people, then when those agendas are passed, if they have a certain way of looking at things, then all of a sudden they control the market. Now, why do we care so much about that? Now, here's the play. I'll hear all the time, well, this is what's wrong with capitalism. They get too big. No, it's not capitalism. Every business is bought out by one. That's monopolizing a market. Then that's turning into a very fascistic style, almost communist style of rule, where I control the market, I control the money that goes to it, and I control every aspect of it. A capitalist society would help us have competition, to understand that we want to do the best to take the market and be good to the consumer. That's the difference. All of a sudden, if billionaires with agendas and big businesses with agendas, such as the WEF that's got tied into it, they're buying all your farmlands, selling a lot of our big acreage to subdivisions to be built, that's going to make people have to rely on other people to provide their food. Well, we see this. When did the egg issue really happen? It was all last year, but the last quarter of the year is when everybody said they're having major issues with eggs, they're having major issues with getting feed, or it's way too much, they're having major issues getting chicken. Well, we found out through a lot of research, through a lot of other YouTubers and a lot of news, is that Purina, Nestle, some of those big players own really all the feed markets in these conglomerate box stores. So if you're buying from Tractor Supply, if you're buying from all these bigger co-ops, then you may just be getting the same feed with a different name on it. So again, as a capitalist, is that wrong? No, I think it's a great business move to say I'm gonna have a low-end, mid-range, or high-end food. The problem is the agenda behind it. All of a sudden they decrease something in the feed to make the feed not feed the chickens like it's supposed to get them laying. Is it protein? That might be the biggest source, I don't know. But what I am saying is, if we can see the chicken and egg, the cheapest protein source that America produces pretty much is the egg and the chickens, of course. If we see that can be so thrown on its head in a matter of 2 or 3 months, should you be worried about every other aspect of your life? So therefore, you will probably eat crickets. Therefore, you really probably won't own anything. You will always have to rent, and therefore you will always depend on the government or some fascistic style agenda to provide for you. Why do I say that? It's not to scare you, it's not to have fear, it's to teach you you have to grow your own food, and not only grow your own food, you have to take care of the whole life sustainable source of that food. Why did I show you the incubators? Why did I show you the water glassing? Why did I show you the chickens? Why do I have roosters? All that is because I want to take care of the cycle. Now yes, I'm buying from Tucker Millen, I just told you that, but do I have to buy food from Tucker Millen? No, I mean, I do want a better egg production, so when I can provide a protein source in a pelletized form, it's an easy button. But if I wanted to, and here's how you test if your feed is bad. Let your chickens just graze. Eat the natural bugs in the soil, eat on top of your garden, some of your old residue from some of your stuff growing, maybe forage in some woods, maybe pick at the edge of the creek over here. Why? Because they're gonna naturally get what they need. They have an instinct to say, I've got to eat. So they're gonna find food. And when they find food, their natural circle of life is they're gonna lay an egg. If all of a sudden you're getting eggs when they're just foraging, then that would probably tell you the feed that you've got is trash. So again, I go back. What else has been manipulated? Is our gas being manipulated? Is the housing market being manipulated? Is the money that we have in our pocket is being manipulated? So do you see how the chicken and egg actually probably has a lot more to do with a lot more than just the chicken and the egg? If all of a sudden you, as a person that wants to be a homesteader, farmer, or just wants to have your own eggs, what's the first thing that a lot of people do? They'll grow a little garden and have chicken and eggs. Cost you way too much to buy the feed that's good quality feed. Or all of a sudden, if you buy the feed, you're not getting any eggs. Your chickens are looking kind of scrawny because they're not getting the best quality feed they can. It makes people say, you know what, it's just not worth it. I'll just go buy them from the store. Well, that's what they want. If you don't have backyard chickens, then they control the egg and they control the chicken and they control what they can charge you for the egg and chicken. I know in Mississippi we have a monster chicken provider, and word was that they were selling or in the process of selling to a subsidiary of Cargill. Now that's news. I'm not telling you anything breaking there, But what is Cargill's agenda? If we only have 3 or 4 major chicken providers in America, don't you think that may be a little too much power? That's probably what the government should be doing, is regulating those kind of things. So, you know, we can't allow this power to happen. You know, they call it the antitrust laws and things like that, but bottom line is they've let it happen. Beef industry, same way. 3 or 4 big players, and guess what? 2 or 3 of them are not even part of America. What are we doing? We're not allowing our meat to be provided here, or to have a manufacturer that could even be American, that has American ties other than businesses in Brazil and China. Pork industry, same way. So it's all rooted in power, maybe greed and evilness. You have to take control of your food. I did a video just the other day about growing your food indoors, using hydroponics, using grow tents, using grow bags. I've given you tons of ideas on how to grow for chickens. I've raised dairy cows, I've raised meat cows. Is it hard work? Yes, it is. But it comes down to, are you gonna be a controlled little dog to the government and just a little puppy that's gonna be whipped all the time and be manipulated? Or are you gonna actually do something about it? And I'm not talking about acting like a fool and screaming and yelling. I'm saying grow your own food. Put your big boy pants on and do something. If your chickens are not laying right now because you've bought crappy feed from Tractor Supply, get rid of the crappy feed from Tractor Supply and start getting your own feed, making your own feed by growing some gardens, or either look for other providers. Hey, I'm telling you what I do, and I'm not affiliated or sponsored by Tucker Millen. It may not work for you, but there's probably some kind of local co-op around you that grows a lot of feed for the individuals or local business. It may not be for Purina or for Nestle. It may not be for these big monster growers. But if we keep letting our farmlands get bought, then you're not going to have anybody providing your feed other than those big billionaires with agendas, or foreign governors with their agendas. So if we don't start looking and opening our eyes, the chicken and the egg should show us that our money, our gas, our petroleum, our other meats, our other foods are getting controlled the same way, guys. So learn from the chicken and egg. Learn to grow an egg, have a chicken, raise them up. Learn to have a rooster, even though they get on your nerves, they're loud. But learn how to see that they're fertilized. Learn how to incubate. You can buy an incubator right now online for $59. I'll link it below. I just told one of my friends about it just yesterday, and he bought one because he realized this. Wait, there may be more to this story. The easiest thing to grow is chicken and rabbits. They're small, they're easy, and they can live off your land. Cows, sheep, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're bigger animals, so they take a lot more. Pigs, same way. But chickens, rabbits, sometimes it's not just the easy button to go on Tractor Supply and trust in Tractor Supply is going to do their feed like they're supposed to, or Purina or XYZ, whoever you're buying from. First of all, buy feed local, or buy from companies that seem like they have a better outlook and not tied to the agenda. You want to know who's tied to the agenda? Go to the World Economic Forum's website. It'll tell you who their partners are. When you start seeing who their partner list is, it should scare you, and you should want to support businesses that are not tied to them. It's all about building the parallel economy, a bartering system, back to the basics, and understanding we can overcome this by being a true American and having freedoms like we used to have. Don't be so tied up in your own conveniences to realize that right before you, there's a wolf in the hen house and they're taking all your eggs. And that's the truth. Thank you so much for watching. It was just a little rant today, because what I don't want people to do is look at the chicken and egg and say, oh, well, that's just a problem with the eggs, or that's just a problem with winter, or that's just a problem with Tractor Supply or Nestle or whoever's growing your eggs or whoever's growing your feed. It's a bigger problem, because now you've got just a few players that own all the chicken manufacturing. You got just a few players that own all the egg manufacturers. You got just a few players that own just the beef, all the beef manufacturers. You've got so much regulations on so many people that they're getting away from the small farms. You got people selling their lands to subdivisions in the name of making a quick buck, and the family's not wanting to keep the land because it takes so much work to deal with it. They want the dollar bills, and so they're selling it. And guess what? Then you're not going to have any land to have animals graze on. You're not going to have any land to control yourself. So be smart, seek wisdom. I never want you to listen to me or take my advice. I want you to literally do the research. And all I hope I do is just open your eyes and say, you know what, there could be another reason for this egg situation. please look into it. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Remember, we have a monster giveaway in the next few weeks. As soon as we hit 200,000, we have 10,000 to go, and we're going to be giving away tons of gifts. All it takes is you subscribing to the channel, ringing the bell. Hey, give us a thumbs up. Tell us in the comments that you just subscribed. It always helps just to know that we have people that are listening and watching these videos to the end. And we've got thousands of dollars of stuff to give away, and we're going to keep on doing this. Monthly, we're going to give stuff away after we hit 200,000. So please share this channel. I hope you find the information on here valuable. Hope you have a great day. God bless. Happy homestead, y'all.